it's Eric with His&Hers HHQ, and this is a take two. Good Lord, it's 1:30 in the morning, and I already recorded, and I went back and was looking at some things, and I shouted out. I shouted out everybody I wanted to shout out, and say thank you to, and but I mixed a few people here and there, and who was doing what, and who said what, and that's what happens when you're tired. Anyway, so this is just going to be a quick update. I'm going to try this again. Quick update on the car. First off, mail call. I got this black Vallejo surface primer, and I don't remember why, but it just showed up in the mail today. Green Stuff World. This is what I've been waiting for. Not this particular bit here, this bit. Anyway, Barbados Rex had done a couple of videos. He's always testing chromes and paints and airbrushes, the different accoutrements, what we use in the modeling community. And I really liked the hyperchrome he tested. I think it's called SMS, but I'm not positive. It's a company out of Australia. Their hyperchrome, I really love the way it looked. I was looking for this little powder. It comes in a little pack. But you spray on the gloss black, and just as it's not quite dry, but it's just tacky enough, you brush this powder on it, and then you buff it out, and you got this really epic chrome look. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I come across the video where he was talking about the Green Stuff World. And the Green Stuff World was nearly identical to that hyperchrome out of Australia. So I'm going to give this a try. I do have a test piece. It's drying right now, and I'm going to dab a little bit, get this touched on there, and see how well it turns out. If it does what it did for Barbados Rex, this chrome is going to look epic. Or more to what I was looking for. Anyway, and the holographic, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do up a vehicle, just an oddball thing, and get this rainbowish look. So I saw it and I said, I'll give that a try. It'd be kind of fun to do. Mr. and Mrs. Doe are over here looking at me funny. They're drying. I've got a little bit of wash on them, and I actually got, between yesterday and today, I got somewhere on the order of 6 hours to work on the model. Which I know you see what's going on here, and you're going 6 hours, and that's all you got done. But for me, like, getting this assembled properly, or getting this reassembled here, this bit, getting all of that reassembled, and after having it glued in place and everything, just taking my time. I touched up the last couple of little details on the AC unit here, and then shot a coat of primer on it. I started with the white primer, did a really light coat, and I really love the way this, that it lays down. I love this detail, really pops. But it's a light coat. So I tried the gray over it, and that gray, I really love the gray over the white. And I'm going to stick with the gray interior for prime when I apply the paint, because there'll be a color variance with the gray primer or gray base with the color, and that's what I'm looking for. But the car body itself, all of that stuff will be done obviously in white, because I really want that color to pop. So anyway, I have done several coats here. I did a really light coat of primer, which it's so much easier to see everything, all the ugly and whatnot, with the white primer on. Oddly enough, you can't, it's really difficult to catch imperfections and or detail on white plastic. But when it's the coral plastic, where it's also difficult to find the imperfections or and whatnot, or the black plastic, you throw a shot, and like in this case, I put white primer over it, and it's like, oh, there's all the little details and everything like that. There's all those little imperfections that I couldn't see. And so I had a lot more filling to do here, obviously. And I've got it sanded down really well. So I've got a couple of little spots here to touch up, add a little bit more filler to. I've got just that touch more right up here. Now, the little divots that you see here, I have filled those 5 times and let them sit, and then sanded them, and those divots keep popping up. So I got frustrated. I pulled out the windshield frame and I laid it on there, or put it in place. Those will disappear under the windshield frame. They don't bother me no more. I've got just a little bit more filling to do here, get a little bit more in here, but otherwise this side here is just about done. Now all the ugly is here, and it's really, without getting too up close and personal, maybe, well, now you can see it. It's a lot more ugly than, you know. This here is really up close and personal with this camera, so you won't actually see most of that once it's in paint. But I am going to do what I can to fix it and get these bits here filled in, and then finish smoothing it out. So for me, I'm taking my time. I want to make sure I've got this right. Oh, yes. And here, my 2 hinges are work really well, but instead of putting a third hitch in a third, oh dear God, I'm so tired. My brain is frozen. Anyway, I put tape in place, which is fine because this is me. I put tape in place, and trust me, it works. It goes up and down the way it's supposed to. The thing is I don't mind that I used the tape, because, well, the point being is, this car isn't going to go in a model show. It's an homage, a dedication to my mother. I'm doing what I can to make this car look as spectacular as possible. But except for that moment on camera where I show you the operation, lift the deck lid, retract the roof, and whatnot, and then the handful of glamour shots for either the end of the video and or over on Facebook, this thing's going on a shelf. Once I decide how I want it displayed, it's going on the shelf, and that's where it's going to stay. I may actually get a separate display. Oh, good Lord, pardon me. I may get a separate display case just for this build. But once I have it situated, it's situated. I'm not going to keep playing with it and lift it up and retract the roof, re-raise the roof. I'm not going to do that. So just a couple of times, and then it's going on the shelf. So I hope that didn't cause anybody's head to explode, using the tape. I have been known to use tape before. If you actually go back and look at Frankenstein's monster, the straps are tape. So anyway, that's where we're at, and I can actually see the finish line. I'm trying to get this right, trying to get this done to my satisfaction as a dedication to my mother. And so I'm not trying to rush it, but we're almost there. I'm thinking within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and this thing is done. And then we get to move on to the next build. And if you're wondering what that next build is, go back and look at the previous video where I tease it. But anyway, so that's where we're at, and things are looking great. If you haven't yet subscribed, check out Rusty Rotors. Model Garage or Model Car Garage. I can't remember. Anyway, it's Rusty Rotors. Go and check him out. I loved his last video, was Mental Mondays, and pardon me. He was talking about where he feels on what box stock means and whatnot. A lot of people look at, and I've actually seen that, a lot of people say box stock, but they've added seat belts and plug wires and stuff like that. I'm with him on this. If it's box stock or out of the box, that means the only thing that gives it the detail or its wear and tear or its extra little oomph is the paint. Everything else is literally, you're not adding extra bits to it in any way, shape, or form. And they say the true test of a person's intellect is how much they agree with you. I've covered before where it's a lot of us like to push that detail envelope and get that. I know people that are doing like it. Basically, it's a miniature car. Brake lines, fuel lines, air lines, hydraulic lines, you name it. Everything is there. They've even got the brake lines going to the calipers. And we're talking 1/24 and 1/25 scale. Really detail oriented, which is great. It turns out a fantastic kit. But you may burn yourself out on that. And like Rusty says, and I've said it, you get back, take a moment, set all that detail stuff aside, grab a kit, and build it straight out of the box. Don't do anything special to it. Maybe play around with some tricks of paint. Get that false depth or something like that. Play around with things. Make a mental note of what you could or would do differently, and then get the same kit and do that, and then go all out with it. This is what I would do. Yeah. But build those kits straight out of the box and refresh. Hit the reset button. And that's, I wholeheartedly agree. That's why I do 3 types of videos. I do straight out of the box. I do out of the box with added detail and a little extra pizzazz. And then I do just because that's what's in the box doesn't mean that's what has to come out of the box. And that's what that next build is going to be. Just because that's what's in the box doesn't mean that's what has to come out of the box. So I'm looking forward to that. Believe it or not, I find that just as refreshing as a straight out of the box build. Doing a kit much like this actually frustrates me. I don't get it. But anyway, I'm way off topic here. So that's where we're at, and be sure you check these guys out. Again, we were working on trying to figure out how to link people in the descriptions so that you can check them out if you can't find them or if you're not subscribed to them. But yeah, it's definitely, these are content creators to really check out. So anyway, I'm Eric with His&Hers HHQ. If you haven't already, head on over to Facebook and follow us at His&Hers Hobby Headquarters. Take a moment, like, subscribe, share the content, and let's keep the scale model hobby growing, and keep the channel growing. You help me out, you help others out. And that's what it's all about, keeping the hobby alive. So, I'm Eric. Have a good day.